Now, all this week we've been hearing from the main party's candidates for the Wellingborough by-election. The constituency goes to the polls on Thursday the 15th of February, so just under 3 weeks to pick a replacement for Peter Bone. Will Morris is from Beaujeu and he is standing for the Green Party.
Well, I think it's the party of the future. I think it's the issue of the future. And as you know, the Green Party is not just about the environment. It's not just about green issues. It's about the whole governing piece. But I think for me, it's the only party that really speaks to challenging the issues this country is going to see, this constituency is going to see in the near future, the short, the medium, the long term. And frankly, they're nice people as well. I know that sounds obvious, but there's a lot of strange people in politics. And the Greens, you know, we don't just mean well, we do well. And we sort of walk the talk in terms of how we behave.
You say, as you know, Greens are much more than just about the climate. But actually, there'll be a lot of people listening to this who won't know that. So tell me more about what you are. 30,
40 years ago, perhaps green issues were regarded as being on the periphery. They were regarded as being cranky. They were regarded as being, you know, left of field. And now I think you won't find a single political party or a government in the world that doesn't have environmental issues at the front of the agenda. But we are also about equality. We're about fighting discrimination. We're about pushing back on some of the bigotry that we see. We're about, you know, the right to work, the right to have a living wage, the right to be housed somewhere that's not full of mold, the right to clean water. You know, as an example, I'm an open water swimmer, you know, but I also drink water and I breathe the air, and it's that sort of the opportunity. We have allowed things to get out of hand, I think, in terms of the influence of the private sector upon utilities, which we all use and which are for the benefit of everybody. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. And I think a lot of people will do those things and maybe think those things, but not make the step to go, right, I want to be an MP and talk about it. So what was that for you? What made you want to go into politics?
Well, I think, you know, I've been a parish councillor for some time.
But it's very different, isn't it?
Well, I think it's the same, but on a bigger scale. I think there's a point at which you have to stand up for what you believe in. And just to be honest, this isn't about 50 years' time. This is about now. We are all in a situation where we have to change the way that we do things. We have to move things forward, and I think you have to stand up and be counted.
Have you been out campaigning much?
I have, yes. I mean, not as much as I would like to, because obviously we are slightly... Yeah, we are a busy party, and for me, obviously, a lot of the other parties are putting a huge amount of resource into it. But I do speak to a lot of people. I try and, you know, a lot of politicians are about speaking. I'm more about listening, if that makes sense. You know, it's about listening to what local people want. So I'm speaking to the NFU. I've been to various local bodies. I'm speaking at an online hustings tonight and so forth. I mean, you would say taking soundings, but for me it's about listening to local people and about what local people want.
So do you have any chance of winning?
Yes, I think the Greens have chances of winning everywhere. We've shown, whether it's at council level, whether it's at national level, that we have the ability to win. People have to say, you know, a vote for the Greens is a wasted vote, and I that's nonsense. You know, there are plenty of people who are very, very disillusioned with the mainstream parties, with this you know, Buggins' turn where people just get the job because they're there. For us, we're about winning. We're about winning locally and nationally. As I say, we've got local councillors, we've got county councillors, and we've got an MP, and we will have more MPs in the future.
What do your family make of you doing this?
Yeah, I think they're pleased. You know, I'm not sure the dogs...
Because there must be a little bit of trepidation, mustn't there, when you go into politics? Because you open yourself up to...
You do.
Just people having an opinion, don't you?
And my family, I mean, I'm married and I have 2 children. I also have a dog. I'm not sure what the dog's opinion on it is. I'm pretty sure he's green. But yeah, but I think that they're pleased, you know. We are, as I say, it's about stepping forward for what you believe in. It's about stepping forward to try to make the country better for your family, but for the people of the constituency. We've allowed the dial in politics to move to frankly a very sort of right-focused area where we've become horrible people to a certain extent, and I think it's about trying to remould ourselves to how we were, about dealing in a proper fashion with people from every background within the constituency.
And I've asked all the other candidates that we've spoken to this week how to pronounce the village Bozeat, but given that you live there, I think that, I mean, it would be bizarre if you couldn't, wouldn't it?
It does, yeah. You know, that's not a question. I would, if you're local, it is pronounced Beaujeu, I would suggest, whereas you know, you might pronounce it Bozeat if you're an outsider, but I would say Beaujeu.
So there we go. That's the 5th of the main parties